Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Patchogue Firearms Restoration. Today we have a Stevens, and it's got some markings on it. It's the fully guaranteed single gun. This is a 12 gauge, brought in by a friend for repair. We're going to try to completely restore this. Today we're going to be taking it apart and just giving it its initial inspection and tear down, see what's going on with it, see what's happening on the inside, and figure out where we're going to go with this restoration. So first thing we're going to do is disassemble the gun into its various pieces. Very interesting forend, lots of mung on the inside, lots of rust. It's got an interesting, looks like a tensioning device on the back to hold on the rear portion, the metal. There's a few markings on the underside of the barrel. We have a HJ right here and a stamp for, looks like 423, maybe 428, and possibly a proof mark up here. And on the side it's simply stamped 12 gauge right here. A little bit of pitting on the barrel. Looks like the bead sight's still in good shape, and the end is a little pitted up, but not too bad. Like I said, the bore on this thing is in great shape. It's got a good polish to it, and I think the bore is just going to need a good cleaning to get it back in shape. The ejector mechanism works, but it's very dry. At some point, we'll probably do a video. We'll take apart this whole piece right here. We'll inspect all the parts on the ejector, and we'll lubricate everything and put that back together after we conserve the barrel. So the most interesting thing here is I'm wondering if there's any stock damage because of all the friction tape that's on here. As you can see, this friction tape, it looks like it's been on here for a couple of decades, and the way it's all smooth, it looks like it's been used in the field with that on there, because it's kind of got a sheen which looks like it's from sweat or maybe just oils from somebody's hands. The ejector works, and the firing mechanism works. Dry firing, it seems to work fine. One thing I did notice when it was brought in is if you depress the trigger and push fully forward, the firing pin does not protrude out of the face of the receiver. So I'm pretty sure that at some point the firing pin was sheared off during the opening or closing of the shotgun. And once we break down the frame and get all the bits out of there, we'll take a peek at the inside. We'll take a look at the firing pin and see what's going on with that. So right now I'm interested in getting this friction tape off and getting the stock off to see if we have any underlying damage, anything besides this one small missing chip right here up by the tang. So I'm going to try to gently cut off and peel back this friction tape. Without trying to get too deep and scratch the underlying wood or steel. Oop, there we go. One of the problems with these old guns with friction tape on them like this is the friction tape. Well, this might peel off pretty easily. The friction tape over time tends to like leach into the wood and soak into the wood. And what you end up finding is that when you go to use stripper on the wood, you have to give it a little extra time to soak in that area, to peel off and get out the underlying. Here we go. Now it's coming off. There we go. We got most of that off. We'll take the rest of this off with a stripper when we take the finish off. One thing to note is the wood is in pretty good condition. There seems to be a few water spots along the right side. And I also noticed several cracks along the back here. So it's a little dry rotted, and that's probably because of the way it was stored. It was found in an attic underneath an old bed, and the attic was very dry, so the wood probably dried out quite a bit. But in the process of refinishing it, we should be able to get some more oils back in there for the finish and get it back into better shape. All right, let's get this butt cap off. Screws are coming out fairly easy. Little bit of rust on the screw, but otherwise the screw's in pretty good condition, and we'll definitely be able to salvage that and reuse it. You know, this one's coming out very easy. This one's got a little bit more rust on it. But again, this screw will be easily able to be reused. One thing to note is that the butt plate, the Stevens logo, is almost non-existent. Probably just from getting battered around over the years. I did look this shotgun up, and I believe it's a model 85 or 89. And I believe they were made in the 20s or 30s. All right, let's get this screw out of the back here. Try to find where the slot's going to line up. There we go. I think we're in now. Yep, it's backing out nice and easy. Sometimes this can be the worst bolt to get out of a gun if it's frozen up on the inside. There we go. She's breaking apart. That's probably the first time anybody's seen the inside of this thing in 70 or 80 years. Very munged up, but overall it doesn't look too bad. Here we have the main spring. Here we have the return spring. For opening and closing. We'll have to do a complete teardown on this at some point and get all this dirt and mung out of here. And I'm sure once we do that, it'll be opening and closing buttery smooth. See if we can pop this bolt out. Yeah, that bolt doesn't want to come out. Let's see if we can back it out a little bit more. if we can get a screwdriver down there to pop that bolt out. There we go. Now she's free. Oh my. That's going to take a little bit of work to clean that up. Alright. Here we go. So we got what looks to be like a fairly solid stock. Possibly a small crack beginning right here. We'll know better what this looks like after I take some stripper to it and get this all cleaned up, but it does look like a very small crack running right along in here. We'll have to take care of that. Probably the best way is going to be drill in from this side and get some epoxy in there and maybe some wooden dowels in there to help put it back together and keep it from splaying apart. A few dents we're going to have to raise with some steam, and it should be pretty good condition. A little bit of rust removal to do on the main bolt and on the butt screws. And I'm probably going to tackle taking apart all the rest of the receiver, the fore end, and the ejector assembly on some separate videos, and then we'll start putting this whole thing back together. So here we go. This will just be part one. Probably end up doing like a 3 or 4 part series. We'll do one on the wood and then on the other bits, and we'll have this thing fully restored, hopefully within a month for Christmas for my friend, and he can have back a fairly new old gun. Thanks again for joining in to another episode of Patchogue Firearms Restoration. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and share with your friends if you have a passion for rebuilding and conserving old rifles, shotguns, and pistols. Thanks again. This is Patchogue signing off. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.